The United Nations have called for urgent action to protect the vulnerable in Nigeria, which is one of the countries worst hit by food and nutrition crisis. Now, in a statement by the UN, the UN noted that the conflict, climate shocks, ongoing impact of COVID-19, and a rising cost of living are leaving an increasing number of children acutely malnourished, while key health, nutrition, and other life-saving services are becoming less accessible. Joining us to discuss this is the country director, United Nations World Food Programme, David Stephenson. Good to have you join us.
Good to have you. Very good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I just want to look at the figure first of all. The figure is that the Food and Agriculture Organization of the UN is saying that is projecting that about 25.3 million Nigerians are going to face acute hunger or food insecurity in June to August lean season. And that's even an uptick in what we saw. In 2022, it was 19.45 million people. Talk to us about the factors influencing this increase in the number of food insecure people.
Yeah, that's right. Our sister UN agency, the Food and Agricultural Organization, has made that statement. It was the government of Nigeria, the Ministry of Agriculture, that recently released the results of what's called the Cadre Harmonise. That's a common framework that the United Nations agencies, such as the World Food Programme, where I am, UNICEF and the FAO, assist the government with. And it came out with the number of 25 million food insecure, the hungry poor in the country. The reasons for it are a combination. In the north of the country, the estimate is that 4.3 million in the northeast, matched by 4.3 million in the northwest, are food insecure. Of that amount, about 2 million children are in need of food assistance, and 700,000 are acutely malnourished. So that is a really serious concern. Now, why is it? It's because of the conflict and the ongoing conflict and people not being able to work in their farms and produce their own food. They've also been hit by the floods. All of Nigeria knows about the effects of the floods, caused about $1 billion worth of damage, and farms are still recovering, so it hit production. COVID was a problem.
And if I may just quickly jump in, I know that you're painting,
primarily,
Mr. Stephenson, I know that you're painting the picture as to what has led to where we are now. But I just want to ask you, because we know that from the picture you've painted, this could expose a lot of households to hunger and multidimensional poverty. What can be done in the short term and in the long term to mitigate this?
Well, in the short term, the World Food Programme is assisting with food assistance. So we'll be providing assistance for 2.1 million Nigerians in the northeast of the country. The government and the NGO communities, non-governmental organizations, are going to do about 900,000, so covering about 3 million of the worst affected in the northeast. That will leave about 1 million without a food assistance in the northeast itself, as well as the needs in other parts of the country. What's needed is a return to agricultural production, productivity, and policy reforms that can allow a boost of production. The government is putting in place some reforms that will increase the production of wheat. The African Development Bank is assisting with a flagship operation they have to assist with wheat yields. Fertilizer programs are going to be important. Seed programs are going to be important. There's a number of factors that can help solve the problems of hunger. But meanwhile, the biggest challenge is the life-saving assistance for those in urgent need, particularly in the northeast of the country due to conflict.
We'll continue to speak with you as we monitor the situation. Thank you so much for talking to us, Country Director, United Nations World Food Programme, David Stephenson.
Thank you.